Hello, welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Corinne for those of you who are new, and this is where we explore a cozy and creative life. I am a writer, knitter, secular homeschool mom, almost done, and we live in the woods of central Maine, and I'm so glad that you're here. So, my friends, today is a Tuesday. I'm finally feeling a little bit better. It's been a long haul to get here. Yes. So I'm feeling like this is still a slow launch of 2026, kind of a continuation from last week. And really it hit me because our son is going back to college this coming weekend. I didn't want to do a full-on heavy week of work and life and all of the things for his last week home before heading back. So yeah, my plan for the week is really to enjoy his company amidst some work commitments that I have to do. But today, he and his sister are out and about for the afternoon. And so I thought it would be a great time to just come back on and connect with you all for the week and say hello and share some fiber goodness. So today's gonna be focused primarily on knitting and wool and fiber. So I hope even if it's not your thing, you might stick around, because you never know, you might get inspired by the colors, by the conversation, by simply watching the process. I have some yarn that I need to wind into cakes, and then I want to show you what I've been working on, what I've finished, and what I kind of am thinking for this year in terms of my knitting life. But before we can get into any of it, we need to start with a mug of tea. I'm going to be using my sheepy mug, which feels so good to hold. It's Golden Earth Designs. I am going to be having some Sunny Orange Ginger Tea by Stash. I just bought this is the second box of this that I've bought because I liked it so much, and I think I've had enough caffeine for the day. But I'm really sick of my cold decongestion teas, so this seems like a happy medium. None of this is sponsored. I would not turn away a sponsorship by a tea company. I think that would be amazing. Hit me up. I will tell you that I got an email from a company who is all about protein coffee that wanted me to do a sponsored post for them. And I was like, that's not really my jam. I don't drink coffee. I don't think, no, thank you. Thanks for thinking of me, but no. But if it was a tea company, I'd be all about that. Let's get this going. So I have two different kinds of yarn that I need to wind up today. One, there's only one skein, and then the other one, there's four skeins that I need to wind up. But it's all purple, and so it might all look the same. But I will I will tell you all about them after they're wound. So I'm going to use my Swift, which is the thing that you'll see it unfolds, and then you put your skein of yarn around it and you attach the yarn to a ball winder and you turn the ball winder and it winds your yarn into a nice ball. So that's what I'm going to do. Hopefully we can listen to some nice music while that's happening, and then I will see you on the other side in the living room because I've got a fire going. And yeah, we'll just spend some time together talking about yarn and creativity and maybe some other stuff. Who knows? If any of that sounds good to you, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. It really helps out, like, hugely, and that you'll stick around, like, comment, and do all the things, because it does it does help a lot to support the channel, and in turn that helps to support me and makes it possible so that I can keep doing these videos. So let's get winding some yarn.
Through the arbor, in the garden room, wings are beating, baby, me and you alone. Pencil drawing phases of the moon.
So all the yarn is all wound up, which is lovely. Thank you if you made it through the intro. I feel like today was a little bit of a hot mess. Darcy is here. Do you want to say hello? Would you like to say hello? Ooh. I love you. All right, you be good. I am definitely not a perfectionist, which you will probably know by now if you've been around for any amount of time. And I used to think I was a perfectionist, but really it was just people pleasing and some fear. So now I like to say I'm a recovering people pleaser and definitely not a perfectionist. I think showing up as you are is really important, which is why I'm showing up today, even though I'm not, feeling 100%. And I really wanted to share about these projects and felt like they deserved a little bit more time, just as like a catch-up kind of video before we kind of get back into vlogging, a la Vlogmas style, but a little different. Anyway, because I really like that dailiness of things, but I had a lot of knitting stuff that I wanted to talk about, so I thought today would be a good day to do some low-key showing up imperfectly. Because yeah, it just is. So if this is your first time here, welcome. You are welcome in your imperfectness and perfect imperfectness, and that's how we roll here. So yeah, this setup, I'm missing the Christmas tree was right there, and I really miss the coziness of it. I really do. But this is still super cozy. So, all right, let's move forward and talk about yarn. Tea first. So if I'm looking over here, I've got my cart of projects, and then I've got some stuff over here. Where do we want to start with? All right, Darcy's being super cute. Hold on. Hello. Are you going to talk yarn with us? Are you going to talk yarn with us? Okay, let's take this back. Finished objects first. Yes, let's do finished objects. I've got two of them. One I forgot that I had. So, this first one, as I was going through my closet for Christmas presents last month, I found it and was completely surprised because I forgot that I made it in the spring. I think I made it in the spring or the summer. It is a shift. I think it's called The Shift. It's by Andrea Mowry. It's the same stitch pattern as the night shift. Was it the night shift? Shifty. It's her like mosaic stitch pattern. And I used a bunch of just stuff from my stash busting, which I want to talk about, and I will talk about in my plans. And You'll probably recognize some of the colors. They're all of the colors that I use regularly. But I found it, and it was literally like a gift for myself because I was so excited to see it. And I've been wearing it a ton. Just, it's so easy. It's so easy to wear. It's like that bandana style. Like, it's just so cozy. And because of the mosaic knitting, it just feels airy and lofty and super cozy. So that was one I was absolutely delighted by. You can see you knit it in one piece and then it's stitched up. I forget which part you start with. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those videos, guys. Thanks for hanging in with me. Second thing is, it was a quick knit, and if you are my mother, stop watching. Just stop watching. Skip over a little while and you can keep watching, but stop watching. So my mother has a birthday next week, and it's a big birthday. Culturally speaking, it's not really a big deal to her. I really like this little tidbit, and I know I've told some of you before, but it's not a big deal for her. Like, the numbers with the zeros are not a big deal. She's like, talk to me when it's a prime number, and then I'll get excited. So it's a little insight to my mom that I think it's hysterical. But I saw this pattern, and I just felt like I had to make it for her. This is the Sophie hood. So if you're familiar with the Sophie scarf, it's the hood version. And I made it out of Malabrigo. I will put all of the information in the description below. I have not updated my Ravelry page in a long time. That's something I'd like to do this winter. So at some point, my projects page will be updated, but I'll put the links to the pattern on Ravelry for you. And then I'll put underneath what I used. So this is it. It is very long, and I actually ran out of yarn. This is 2 skeins of the Malabrigo and a tiny bit of something I had in my stash. So it's basically a hood that you use or you make through a certain shaping technique, and then you can just wrap this around and around and around and keep you super, 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 super cozy. And I think she'll really like it. It feels really good. It's already been blocked. Yeah, so that is my second finished object to show you. But it was a delightful pattern. Highly recommend. All right, more tea. You might be able to hear Lucas in the background coughing. He's still sick. It's been a time. And this is kind of what I was thinking about too. I know there's people who would be like, why are you doing that if you're still sick? Like, why are you adding on a video or like in Vlogmas? Why would you want to do that during December, during a busy time of the year? What I don't think people necessarily understand when you have creative hobbies or you work in a creative field, like when creativity is just a part of you, you need that. You need that. You need to like give yourself space for those creative things, and it keeps you, it's like a touchstone to yourself. It's a touchstone to what you love. It's a touchstone to who you are. And during stressful or busy times when people might be like, oh, let that go, that's actually when you need it the most. And I don't know that people necessarily, if people really get that. I've had some comments from people, who are not in this kind of line of work, line of hobbies, whatever, who just don't really get it. Like, this is what keeps me going. the creating and the creating and connecting. And we live in a society that is very much, that it's very dismissive of those things. And I think that's often why they're the first to go when we're feeling under pressure for time and space. Like, it's similar to self-care, that those are the things, or exercise, that get taken off the list when push comes to shove. And so me showing up during busy times, or during times when I'm like, this will actually give me a boost of energy. And hopefully it's a reminder to you that maybe tapping into that creative the creative drive, whatever it is, that creative fire, really is life-giving, really and truly. So see, it's never just about the yarn. It's never just about the one thing. It's always about so much more. So, all right, what am I working on now? First thing I said I was going to be knitting during Christmas and New Year's, or what I was planning to, until I got sidetracked by the Sophie hood. I have still made some headway on this. This is the Nurtured Sweater, again by Andrea Mowry. And I'm using the Tanis Farm Pure Wash wool, worsted. And this, I might like blue a little bit. So this sweater, I have to get up to show you. The construction is kind of funky, and it's kind of funky. You knit the sleeves individual up to this point. So you knit 2 sleeves, and then you start from the bottom and you knit up to like this point, and then you connect it all and work in the round all the way up. So I have finished the sleeves, I have finished the body up to here, and I have connected the body and the sleeves, and I'm working on the decreases for the raglan to come up to the neck. And I'm really pleased with it. I love this stitch pattern. It's the honeycomb stitch pattern. It uses slip stitches like every other round. You do a purl and a slip, just alternating. And I love the feel of it. I love how it's looking. I'm really excited about it. So this should be finished probably in no time. It's a very quick project. I'm still working on the half and half shawl for my daughter, who will be taking that to college with her. I am getting closer to finishing the first half. And so this will be more of a priority as this year unfolds. But it's just a lot of garter stitch, which is really nice. I like to take this with me places and knit. It's a really easy pattern. So it'll be this. The first half will be obviously this one. And this is knit in linen quill. And this is the second color. So there'll be 2 triangles. So there's that. I have my scrappy, I'm saving the best for last. I have my scrappy blanket, but I'm not gonna take that out. More tea. My friend Jess and I went out last week and picked out some yarn for a shawl that we are knitting together. She's knitting hers, I'm knitting mine, but we decided to do it in the same yarn and the same colors. So it is the Rowan Lace Wrap by Fox and Folk. I will put a picture here. It is a lace, it's just a lace shawl. We picked out Baracco's Mercado, and it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and it doesn't name a color, but it is this really lovely purple, like almost a heathered purple. And we cast on together last week. I did take some footage, but I was kind of tricking myself into, like, that was the first time I had left the house in since before Christmas. I'm not lying. I kept that date because I really, really needed to get out of the house. And I paid for it the rest of the weekend. Like, I'm not going to say I shouldn't have gone. I don't think I was contagious. I was just exhausted after and had a little bit of a setback. I'm glad I went. I'm glad to have this yarn and that time with Jess. All that to say, the footage did not turn out so great. The lighting in the cafe that we were at, not so hot. But it was really nice to cast on together. It was really kind of a fun experience, and to talk about like our favorite cast-ons and to just spend that time together. So I have not done a whole lot with it since I got home because my headspace has not been that for lace, and the pattern does not, like normally with lace, I like to put stitch markers between the repeats and it works out well. But the stitch numbers, the stitch count changes in rows, so I can't really do that. So I have to be on it to sit down with this, and I haven't, but I will. But I'm really excited to knit it. So far, this is what I have. The garter stitch beginnings and then the first 2 rows of the lace pattern. I'm excited to see this grow. I just had a text from her asking to get together again to work on these, and so hopefully we'll have some really nice knitting dates to work on our shawl together. So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that. So what's to come knitting wise? The first thing is the other purple yarn. Is this kind of more homespun-y type yarn with the variegation. I picked this up in Machias. I think it was the weekend of Finn's, not orientation, but kind of orientation. And it is the color is elderberry, which is fitting. And it's from My Maine Farm Girl. And it's hand-dyed fiber from the Bittersweet Flock, a Seacoast Maine farm, Port Clyde Village. So that's that. I'm excited to use. Well, I'm not actually going to use this. That's what's extra exciting about it. I wound this up so that Paige, my daughter, could crochet me a hat. I think it's just called the Leafy Beanie. Erin from Erin with an E has made a couple. I have another friend, a different friend, Jess, whose mom, I think, made her one. So it's making the rounds, and it's made the rounds for a while. So I have the pattern. I've sent it to Paige. All I need to do is wind up the yarn and then hand it off to her. And she is a speedy crocheter, so maybe by the next video, this will be ready to go. So what's to come for my knitting? I'd like to finish up the Nurtured sweater, finish up the 2 shawls on the go. I have some stash yarn that I'd like to use, or I'd like to knit up some hats with, like make some smaller projects. I think that will be probably the summer knitting, is the smaller projects. I do have 4 or 5 sweaters that I'd like to knit this year. And I don't normally plan that way for my knitting. A lot of times I just go with what, like, oh, I see something, I like it, I've got yarn, a yarn, room in the yarn budget for that kind of thing. But I don't want to be bopping all over the place in my knitting this year. And that kind of goes along with, I just don't want to be bopping around in general. I took a break from Instagram for most of December and the beginning of January, and I got back on last week, and I was quickly made aware of how much bopping around I was doing. Oh, this looks really neat. Oh, this looks really neat. Oh, that, I want to add that. I want to read this. I want to do that. I don't want to do that this year. I have a stack of books that I've accumulated over the last year or two that I really want to get to. Some of them are holding up the camera right now. I want to finish some of the things that I have around here. And I think that Instagram and other social media platforms are great for inspiration. And sometimes we can only take in so much inspiration. And we need to just sit with what we have, sit with what we are, be reminded that what we are, who we are, what we have is enough. And settle our brains and minds and bodies a little bit. That is something that I really want to focus on this year. And sometimes it takes courage, the word of the year, my word of the year, to do that. So I am thinking though about what I want to add to my wardrobe. There's a couple things that I've been thinking about a lot and returning to. So that tells me that that it's time to start thinking about it. What should we start? All right. I've got my queue on Ravelry on my phone, so if I'm looking, that's what it is. And I will put pictures of things up here. The first thing, last year I actually had to take a break from knitting for a little bit because I hurt my wrist. And I did a video on when knitters can't knit, we dream about knitting. And I made up I put some things in my queue. The one that I keep thinking about from that list is the Magniflora. It's knit in worsted weight. And it's just a pretty little lacy top. I think it would be really versatile over dresses, with skirts, with shorts. Like I really would like to knit this before the summer. I think it would be a great spring-summer piece. So that is on my list. I need to keep an eye out. I don't know what I want to use for yarn for this, but it's that I would like to knit. The next thing is I've been wanting to knit a pullover cable knit sweater for myself. I have a cardigan or two that is cable knit. I love cables. I think they just look so classic. And so I've been looking over the past year or so at different patterns, trying to decide which one I liked the best. And I keep coming back to Sari Nordland's Billy pullover. Again, I'll put it right here. I think it's super classic. I love the stitch pattern that is underneath the arm and that goes all the way down the waist. I like the different cables. I just think it's very, very classic. The pattern calls for Cascade Yarns 220. And I think that's what I would use. It's a worsted yarn. I think that's definitely what I would use. I'm not sure about the color. Part of me wants to go with that natural color, and the other part of me thinks that can wash me out sometimes, but I want a neutral. I'm really craving some classic, timeless pieces, and this is going to be one of those. Another one that I would like, or another style that I've been wanting to add, is a worsted weight turtleneck sweater that's kind of oversized, kind of boxy. I have a DK weight one and it just isn't doing what I wanted. I want a thicker, boxier, oversized kind of thing, but simple lines. There's of course Kadri and Ozetta both have some beautiful patterns, like the Winter's pullover and the Harlow sweater. The Harlow sweater is a DK weight, so scratch that. But I really like Flet by Olga Berea Kefalion. Put it right here. What I love is that the stitch pattern of the turtleneck and the cuffs are a little bit different, and the lines are a little bit different. Like, it's still classic, but it's a little bit elevated. I like that, so that's a strong contender. The other one that I've recently added to my list, I saw it at the yarn store on last week when I went. They had a sample knit up, and it's Gray Space by Tiff Neeland. Put it right here. The yarn store knit it up in, they used Bartlett yarns, which is a main yarn, and I'll see if I can insert, I think I can, I'll insert the picture of the one there too, right here. Tiff Neeland had a sale going on her patterns this week. I don't know how long, if it's still going on. You might want to check it out. So I did grab that pattern, and I keep thinking about that one. I love the two-tone of the colors, and her pattern writing is excellent. She's another one that's just spot on with her pattern writing. But it looks cozy. I like the neck of it. Even the thumb holes of the sleeves, I think that would be really nice. So I don't have any intention of finishing the cable knit sweater this season at all. I think that'll be one to work on and have ready for next fall or winter. I'm not sure which one I will pick next, but those are on my list. And yeah, how do you pick the sweaters and the knit, the projects that you work on? Do you go by vibes? Do you have a plan? I'd be curious to find out. Okay, I have chatted a very long time about knitwear and other things. And so I think I've about worn myself out, but given myself some energy also. And yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed a warm beverage as we were sitting and chatting. And yeah, if you haven't already, if you could give the channel a subscribe, that would be awesome. Like I said in the beginning, that does help out a little bit. We hit 600 of you, 600 cozy loving folks. And I think that that's really amazing. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I will hopefully be back next week. And yeah, stay cozy, be well, and I will see you soon.